Greetings, YouTube. Danny Staten here on the Daily Dan Blog. I'm back with another comic book review. Today I'm taking on Death. Death to the Army of Darkness. That's right. I'm breaking out the horror comics as a cool dog and Becky Lynch join Ash to fight the Evil Dead. I wonder if Dave's Sunstorm. I call this stuff the good stuff. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Before I get started, I want to take a special moment to say thank you to Mr. Blondie Russell from Upstate California, who sent me this really cool Army of Darkness comic book to review. He sent it to that address right there. If you want to send me a comic book to review, you can send it to that address right there, and I'll review it here on the Daily Dan Blog. And that's Daily Dan at Post Office Box 144, Pilsner, South Carolina, 29669. So here on my second attempt to get this comic book video made, we check out Army of Darkness. Death to the Army of Darkness, number 2. It's from 2020, and it's a comic book classic, right? Well, I guess we'll see. Inside the front cover, we get a list of everybody we can blame for the dismal nightmare we are about to endure. God, I did this so much better the first time. So our comic book starts out with Ash. You know Ash from them Evil Dead movies, doing something he shouldn't do, messing with that book. Every time he messes with that book, bad things show up. And in full panels, brought to you by the Daily Dan Blog. You know, when Daily Dan says bad thing shows up, there you go right there. The Deadites are back. And have you noticed all the Deadites now seem to look like Mike Bleasy? Yeah, I thought we were done with Mike Bleasy. I thought Mike Bleasy was a thing of the past. But Mike Bleasy, the evil one, has returned to infest my comic books, as all the evil Deadites seem to have the face of Mike Bleasy. Luckily, Becky Lynch is there, and Becky Lynch and a cool dog have at it with the Deadites in a battle for the times. As Becky Lynch and Ash, the famous hero from the Evil Dead movies, battle the Deadites, Ash has even brought one of his tiny little minions. That's right, little teeny tiny Ash, his little man, to help. But little Ash gets stumped to the side like a little bitch that he is, which then spawns Big Ash to say the best one-liner of all time: "Don't ever touch my little man." Art, the comedy in this comic book seems to make me want to barf. Oh my God, his chainsaw's gone limp. Oh, God. Don't you hate it when your chainsaw goes limp? Wow, that could be a paradox when your chainsaw goes limp. Either way, that brings us to the Sacred Six right there. We get a comic book commercial for the number 1 of what could be one of the sexiest cover comic books of all time by Jay Lee and Joe Slodani. And you get to see Black Beauty in all her gorgeous might. And she takes on Vampirella in a later issue. Spoiler! Don't miss Sacred Six. Sadly, I missed Sacred Six. I never heard of this shit. But once again, in full shiny-ass, glowy 2020 panels, brought to you by the Daily Dan Blog, we're going to see Ash versus the Evil Dead and his cool dog go one-on-one, as, that's going to get a copyright claim. I don't want to see heads explode. Come on, next. Sometimes you show stuff on YouTube and they get a little upset about it in comic books. It's comic books, YouTube. It's art. Get a life. I don't need no more copyright warnings or my stuff being made for adults. And I swear YouTube just loves to screw with people, as Ash and Becky Lynch have an intimate conversation about the fate of the Evil Dead. And then the son of Sam talking dog, this cool dog, starts blabbering off at the mouth about his time in Samaria, about him being the royal dog that can talk, the royal dog with human intelligence, and the royal dog who will live forever because he is forever dog. What the hell? And he tells Ash, "You are the promised one." Well, after being informed by the immortal dog that he is the chosen promised one, Ash already knew that from other movies where he got sucked back in time. Remember that? Ash is too busy being upset about his limp chainsaw, hoping that he can get his chainsaw fixed somewhere in the near future. This is really disturbing to our hero. And just like that, my brain begins to hurt. As we go from fighting deadites in the bowels of hell or wherever they were at to a cheesy little Manhattan apartment with tape on the chair looking disgusting. Ash and his cool talking dog. I can't get over the fact that Ash has a talking dog, a friendly skeleton that hangs around, and a little man. What a group. Oh, and let's don't forget about redheaded demon Becky Lynch. And why he chose redheaded demon Becky Lynch is beyond me, but I really dig the lava lamps. They were cool back in the 70s. I had a lava lamp. Did you have one of them really cool lava lamps back in the 70s? I bet Becky Lynch had one. And then Full Panels brought to you by the Daily Dan Dog. You get Ash versus the Evil Dad. You get a talking dog. You get a Becky Lynch. And you get Skeleton Man. And Daddy Dan's brain explodes live on a video as Ash and Becky have one of their horrible disagreements over the next actions they should take in their battle with the Deadites. Cool Dog proposes that we go in search of where it all started, back to that cabin in the woods. So with the dog toting the flashlight, Skeleton Man in tow, and Becky Lynch by his side, Ash heads out to where it all began. Back to the cabin in the woods. Oh, God, the barf flows from my nose. And Full Panels brought it by the damn blog right there. They barely get back to where it all began. And the shiny, glossy panels brighten and blind your eyes as the Deadites arise. And once more, a battle ensues between the long-dead Deadites, Becky Lynch, a cool dog, and a little bitty man and a skeleton. Oh, my God. Don't you just love this comic book? At least it's horror and not the kind of stuff I've been doing lately, right? And with that incredible action, oh my God, we get some more incredible action. It must be time for shout-out. So let's get the shout-out started with a special shout-out to Dave Sunstorm and his incredible brother Steven Sunstorm, the Good Stuff Brothers, here on YouTube, They're our community leaders. And another shout out to Pat McCormick at the Golden Ranger TV Retro TV Trivia. We love that channel. As well as my main partner in crime, Thrash Pondo Ponds. Be sure to join me and Pondo Ponds every other Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Thrash and Dan Save the World with our girl Sarah. Don't miss the show, and be sure to check out Bay over at the Brain Benders Banners. You can see her on Saturday night and usually see me on panel. Even though I missed last week because of a horrible storm, be sure to check out Bigfoot, Michigan Rob's True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1 and Book 2. They're out now for your shock theater scary experience, if you like that channel. And my friend E. McGill, the unapologetic geek. He's got a new book called Paradox you can see in the corner. You might want to check that out, as well as our shows every once in a while on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You'll see me on there. And now let me holler out all the rest of the guys, like BK on the air, Big Guys 45s, my guy Corey, over at Corey's Comedy Channel. You can see his cards right there in the corner. The only YouTube channel with business cards that I know of. My flock Sarah. My flock is everywhere. We love her, and she is our co-host on our Sunday night shows. Oh, and we go with the nostalgic Pod Blast, Chance, and that is one cool show. I love the stuff he's been doing lately. Retro Nut Girl, AAP, Homestead, AAP for life. We miss you, AAP. As well as the Life Inside Indians channel and Super Supernatural Crossroads. Our friend Eric is back. Be sure to check out his new show. Well, that was a lot of shout outs. And with that, we get a commercial for Vampirella. Born in 69, 50 years later, she's doing the 69. Damn! Vampirella aged well. She aged real well. Oh my God, I hope Vampirella does not turn out to be the thumbnail. So info panels brought to you by the damn blog Ash, the Skeleton Man, Little Man, and Becky Lynch go one-on-one with the Deadites as they arrive back at the cabin, where it all began with Cool Dog the Talking Dog, kind of look like Duke, as they admire the work they've done, taking out the Evil Dead. Ash is proud, but they won't go down. The Evil Dead still talking, even though they've been staked out. The battle continues, and we go one-on-one, finally have to burn the bodies to get rid of them. But as they burn the bodies, the head begins to speak, and the head just did a spell. Uh-oh, that's bad. In full panels, brought to you by the Daily Damn Blog, you see what I mean by repetition and ripoff. Oh, we couldn't come up with nothing new and original. Oh, not again. Oh, that's just what we needed. A big spinning portally vortex sucking everything in. One after another, they all get sucked in. Only Ash is left. But Ash can't let the others go alone. Ash must go too, as he releases from the pole and is sucked up. He got sucked up. Ha 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 ha. He got sucked up into the vortex. And in an all too familiar thud, my brain begins to hurt, and I seethe with disappointment for a comic book as I give you full panels. Brought to you by the Daily Damn Blog. For the last time in this comic book, we see Ash and his companions thrown into the sands of time. We see them thrown back to where it all began again before, just like the last time they went to the cabin. They got sucked up. They got thrown back in time. I guess some Sumerian-looking deadites are going to show up next, or the king and his men will be like, "You're back, jackass." Even the talking dog isn't happy about this one. Hey, let's go this way. To be continued. And if I ever get another comic book of this series, we'll find out what happens when they made it over the hill, and apparently wasn't in Samaria this time. They were in ancient Egypt. Wow, that's going to be so cool. I may actually have to look for this comic book to review it one day. Hopefully not no time soon, because it wasn't exactly what I would call the good stuff, Dave. And then we get a preview of the upcoming Army of Darkness issue 3, where we're going to find out all the next stuff that happens. I'm not going to read this. I don't want to spoil it for myself. You're more than welcome to pause, Michael Marone, because you always do. Read it, but please don't send me comments about it, because I don't want to know what happens. And now we get to what I call the best part of the book. That's the ads for the other comic books. Because usually the ads are probably some of the best stuff in these crappy Dynamite comics, as we learn about the death of Nancy Drew. And I think the death of Nancy Drew came when they came out with that new TV series, the Nancy Drew Mysteries, that I watched recently. That was truly the death of Nancy Drew. And you could have had Jim Lee's homage covers, the Red Sonja, the Vampirella, the Army of Darkness covers, because Jim Lee is famous for comic book covers. If you've heard of Jim Lee, let me know in the comments below. And it's free comic book day. God dang, it is free comic book day, as this comic book I reviewed was sent to me by Russell from upstate California. Thank you, my friend. And it's free comic book day. I got a free comic book from 2020 in 2025. And now I'm checking it out on YouTube. Isn't life freaking wonderful? And the greatest comic book covers of all time, the Army of Darkness comic book cover collection. All the Army of Darkness comic books I wished I had. You know, the one I want the most is probably the one up here, right here, this one. I really would like to have that cover on my wall. And this video comes to a dismal end as I show you more Army of Darkness rejected comic book cover galleries, a list of people you can blame for this nightmare that we just endured. Send Dynamite a letter and tell them all about it. And of course, they waste the back cover with total crap. And that's my look at the Death to the Army of Darkness 2020, a Dynamite comic. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And will Ash ever unlimp his chainsaw? The answer to these questions and many more in future episodes here on the Daddy Dan blog. And I've also checked out Kiss versus the Army of Darkness, and you can see that review right here on the Daddy Dan blog.